Tonight on Nebraska Nightly.
A former deputy is charged with manslaughter.
The University of Nebraska names a new president.
And 17 states file a lawsuit against a new rule. All on Nebraska Nightly.
Live from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Peyton Polad.
And I'm Mackenzie Noble.
And I'm Dominic Ferraro. Your top story today. It has been a long time since the Lincoln area has seen weather like this, and it has been an afternoon of severe weather. Around 2:45, there are the first reports of a tornado touchdown near the Kawasaki manufacturing plant in northwest Lincoln. Around 3 p.m., there were reports of another touchdown near the Lincoln landfill. There's an overturned semi on Highway 6, with that highway being closed down just west of Waverly. Garner Industries reportedly suffered heavy damage to their building. At 3:45, there were reports of a large tornado over Elkhorn, and then at 3:50, a large tornado was spotted over Newman Grove, Nebraska. Storms and tornado warnings are still stretching across this entire eastern portion of the state, and storms will continue to move northeast into Iowa throughout the rest of the afternoon. Currently, right now, they just extended that warning in Douglas County until 5:15 p.m. If you're in the Omaha metro area, please seek shelter right now. Looking throughout the rest of the afternoon, reports of large hail. There's no significant damage other than what I just previously mentioned, and right now there is no reported injuries. And I'll have the latest in my weather segment here in a bit.
Okay, well, this is my first tornado that I've ever seen. I didn't even really see it, but it was in my area.
It was my first too,
well.
but gotta keep us all on our toes, I guess.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So gotta take the good with the bad.
We're not out of the woods yet, so we'll touch back here in a few moments, but hopefully nothing major for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, thank you, Dominic.
The NU Board of Regents has approved the hiring of Dr. Jeff Gold as president. Vote was 7-1 with Regent Kathy Wilmot opposed. Gold's contract will pay $1 million base salary plus perks that come to about $1.3 million in total compensation.
A fight broke out at Lincoln High School between two students on Thursday. A knife was drawn during the altercation. During the fight, a 14-year-old student stabbed a 15-year-old student multiple times in the chest and arms. The student with the knife also slashed the wrist. Both students were rushed to urgent care for minor injuries. The 14-year-old boy was taken to the Juvenile Detention Center on suspicion of second-degree assault and use of a weapon to commit a felony. The students' identities will stay anonymous until the investigation is finished, and Lincoln High School officials ask if anyone comes upon the footage of the two students fighting to flag or delete the footage immediately, as it goes against the LPS safety handbook.
A former deputy from the Seward County Sheriff's Office is being held in Lincoln on charges of manslaughter. Police booked Anthony Gahn at the Lancaster County Jail on Thursday. There is some confusion on the charge. It is listed as manslaughter, and it seems to have come from a grand jury. Details are unclear, as an official in the Lancaster County District Court says the case is sealed. Also, it is not confirmed that Gahn worked at the Seward County Sheriff's Office. However, it was reported earlier Gahn worked as a deputy as recently as the spring of 2021. This is a developing story. We will provide more information as it becomes available.
A Grand Island child care provider is in custody after being accused of abuse. The Grand Island police were called to the home of 27-year-old Bianca Rivera Lima around 4:30 p.m. On Monday, police say a 2-month-old infant was not breathing, had blood on the brain, and showed no signs of life. Medical personnel say the injuries are intentional and from severe shaking and slamming. The child is at the Omaha Children's Hospital, and the child remains in critical condition and is not expected to live. Rivera Lima is in the Hall County Jail and is expected to be arraigned in the county court at 11 a.m. yesterday.
Governor Jim Pillen vetoed a bill Wednesday that he says would harm Nebraskan taxpayers. LB 25 would allow people to sue state agencies and other government units if public employees commit sexual abuse against a child while working. Opponents of the bill say taxpayers would be financially liable for the abuse committed by employees of local government units. In his veto letter, Pillen said, "We must hold perpetrators accountable and protect children from abuse by enforcing the criminal laws that exist. Taxpayers should not bear this burden." Supporters of the bill argue the bill could protect children from abuse in school districts.
Papillion signed 10 other bills after vetoing LB 25. And a nonprofit organization is altering the community about potential scammers. The Capital Humane Society is aware of 2 separate incidents where scammers use their name to steal people's money. In the first incident, someone claimed to be the nonprofit and was attempting to charge someone a vendor fee for the upcoming pet festival. In the second report, the scammer tried to sell a non-existent dog on Facebook. The Capital Humane Society says it does not use the Venmo, Cash App, or any other similar platform to take payments. So if you have any questions, you should call the Capital Humane Society at 402-441-4488.
The Lincoln Police Department released the results of its Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over drug impaired driving campaign conducted last weekend. The LPD issued 223 citations stemming from traffic stops for various offenses. The department says it is adopting a zero-tolerance stance towards individuals driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Offenses include speeding citations, DUI citations, reckless driving citations, and more.
Well, town baseball has a long history in Nebraska, and as Nebraska Nightly's Sam Cobb reports, a man named Randy is making sure its history is preserved.
In the little Polish village of Farwell, Nebraska.
Randy Lukasavich has been collecting pictures, stories, and relics from the old Sherman-Howard County baseball teams for over 40 years.
Telling about one of the oldest leagues.
And his work has all come together at the Nebraska Innovation Campus, where he's currently displaying his Once Upon a Time, the Sherman-Howard County Baseball League exhibition. The exhibit walks guests through the history of the semi-pro and town ball teams that played in central Nebraska counties for nearly 50 years, starting in the early 20th century.
I grew up to the sounds of the steel cleats and wooden bats, so that kind of spurred me on to continue gathering stories.
Randy can name each player and every photo he has, some of which go back as far as 1915.
Howard Waltman, Dan Dilla, Grover Cleveland Alexander from St. Paul, Albert Horkey.
A native of Farwell, Nebraska, Randy remembers the sense of community and hope he felt attending town ball games as a kid, and hopes guests leave his exhibit with some of that same feeling.
Yeah, I hope they get an appreciation for the past. It's a baseball exhibit, but it's a little more to it.
This is the exhibit's 26th and largest stop in its 40 years of existence, and will be open to the public on the second floor of the Nebraska Innovation Campus through the end of April. Sam Cobb, Nebraska Nightly.
Town baseball was played throughout the state of Nebraska until the 1950s. Well, this rain has not been helpful for my hair. Same with this tornado. I mean, seriously, walking here was a trip. But meteorologist Dominic Ferraro does have more on if the rain is coming or going. Dominic?
Thank you, Mackenzie. We'd just like to give a brief update. So during that Garner Industry collapse, there was an estimated 70 employees in the building. 3 were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And looking at the current radar picture across the state right now, huge line of thunderstorms working away right along the eastern border. We have tornado warnings up in the northeastern part of the state, working into Iowa, right into the Omaha metro area, and 2 down in the southeast corner of Lincoln of the state as well. Right now, there's currently rotation over Papillion. And as of right now, there is no confirmed tornadoes with these lower ones. I haven't quite remembered on what exactly was going on with the tornado that just kind of worked its way through Blair, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. Here's some pictures of the tornado that blew through Lincoln earlier. They estimated it to be about a half-mile wide, a nice debris cloud on that one there. Very serious situation as that worked northeast up into Waverly. Here's another picture for you, and just a very well-structured storm, nice wedge tornado. It was a very, very dangerous situation for those out. And some hail in northern Lincoln. This is estimated to be about golf ball-sized hail. However, it was reported that this was an anomaly and that there was fairly about pea-sized hail besides that. So looking ahead at the rest of your day, we've extended our enhanced region of severe weather down across the Central Plains down into Kansas, Oklahoma, and parts of Texas for the rest of the evening. Your tornado threat right now, your main areas being northeastern Nebraska into eastern Iowa, as well along the Oklahoma and Arkansas border down into Texas. That will be the area to keep an eye out for on the rest of the evening. Still pretty high wind chance along those same regions, and hail extending down into the central and southern plains as well. We'll have a take a look at your current conditions here in Lincoln and the rest of the week after the break.
Thank you, Dominic. Coming up after the break,
Cigarettes in big cities are seeing a hike in prices.
an elderly woman shows us how to age gracefully.
And is syphilis evolving? More when we return.
Need for blood never stops. And at the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, your blood could help save lives. Right now, only 7% of the population donates blood. But imagine if there were more.
We're sitting at below a 7-day level of supply of all blood types across the board. So every blood type is important, and we need all donors of all types to come in and donate right now.
At the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, they believe that all types make a strong blood supply.
Well, with the spring game tomorrow, I'm really hoping for sunny skies.
That would be nice. Dominic Ferraro has more. Dominic?
Thank you, Mackenzie. Well, hate to burst your bubble. We'll get to that here in just a second. Currently right now in the capital city, partly cloudy skies, 75 degrees for your temperature right now. Winds out of the southwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour. Looking ahead into tonight, couldn't rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm or two over the next couple hours. Partly cloudy skies for your evening tonight. Will drop down to 50 degrees, however, stay pretty windy at southwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Then spring game forecast for tomorrow. Sunny, however, we could look at some afternoon thunderstorms looking about 1 p.m. for those start times. So we'll see if we can kind of fit the spring game in there before those showers roll into the area. 77 though for your high, and winds will be out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Taking another look at your radar across the strait, 23 confirmed tornadoes right now have been reported so far in this event. 2 funnel clouds, still active warnings in northeast Nebraska, just north of the Omaha Metro, in the Omaha Metro, and down in the southeastern corner of the state. Taking a look at the next 18 hours, this cold front that's kind of initiated most of these storms will continue to work its way across the region, and we'll see the severe threat kind of push east across the country into Saturday. However, that next round of storms starting up just about midday tomorrow. Your current satellite imagery, nice strong cloud band across most of the country right now, especially the Central Plains. That's what's really driving that severe weather that we're seeing right now. A nice dry air filling in behind that as well, and that's giving us that kind of convective fuel that we need to make such, that's generating such strong rising motion that's giving fuel to these storms. Current statewide temperatures right now, 56 up in Valentine, 61 out in Scotts Bluff, 65 in North Platte. Those are kind of cooling off as rain is working through the area. 61 in Ord, 61 in Norfolk, 69 up in Omaha, and 75 down here in Lincoln the rest of your weekend. So a couple showers and thunderstorms are throughout the next couple days here. Sunday, showers and breezy, a high of 74. And then the sun returns on Monday, mostly sunny skies, 72 there. Tuesday, however, Sunday, and will be up into the 80s. And Wednesday, 76. Thursday, 73. It should be noted that there is still a chance for showers or thunderstorms kind of scattered throughout the middle part of the week. And then we close out on Friday, mostly sunny skies and 72 degrees. We'll have one last look at your weather at the end of the show. Thank you. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Dominic. Our next story is about a special person who is originally from the Midwest and later left the country to work as a professor at a Christian college in Lithuania.
As Nebraska Nightly's Alushaye Fakenled reports, now years later, she's back in Nebraska at an assisted living center teaching others and herself how to age well and prepare for death.
Yes, the body's going the way of all flesh, but our spirit's being renewed.
This is Marcelin Houghton, a retired Russian history professor and author of a newly drafted book about aging, death, and spirituality. Houghton lived a full life traveling all over the globe and publishing 5 books. But after a full life of accomplishments, one thing still plagued her.
I couldn't figure out why I was so absolutely terrified, because my best friend, she and I would always go on and say, well, it's okay when we die. We've had a full, rich life. And so it's okay when we die. But you see, down deep, there's a part of me that doesn't believe it.
In 2021, Houghton had a prolapsed uterus operation that left her fearing aging and death. But as a scholar, this led her to look more into the subject and to write our latest book, Waking Up Before We Die.
What got me started really was this quotation from Corinthians, and it says, "And so we do not lose heart, even though the body is wasting away, the spirit is being renewed day by day."
Houghton says this is a natural part of life that people can overcome by renewing their spirit daily. Activities like music, reading, thankfulness, exercise, and even yoga are all important for aging, death, and life in general. Michael Johnson is a friend of Houghton who proofread Marceline's book.
We have recipes for preparing meals and various dishes in the meal. What Marceline does is offer a recipe book for growing old.
Houghton says that since writing the book, she does not fear death nearly as much.
We're still trying to figure out how to age gracefully and how to live well. How do we live well at whatever age we are?
Olushoye Fakinlede, Nebraska Nightly.
Shay says Marceline is very popular at her residence and is constantly impacting the lives of those around her.
While the cost of cigarettes is increasing in Minneapolis, what could this mean for other big cities? A new city council measure passed Thursday has raised the minimum price for tobacco products to $15. The city hopes the measure will lead to a decline in cigarette use. The extra revenue from the new price will go to the stores that sell the products, and the City Council amendment also increases the penalties for stores that violate the rules.
A proposed repeal of Arizona's near total ban on abortions won approval by the State House on Wednesday. Now the bill goes to the Senate. The House vote comes 2 weeks after a court decided the state can enforce the 1864 abortion law, which only offers an exception for saving the patient's life. 3 Republicans joined all 29 Democrats on Wednesday to repeal the law that predates Arizona's statehood and provides no exceptions for rape, including incest. U.S. Senate candidate Carrie Lake adjusted her position on abortion after the state court approved going back to the 1864 law. She called the Civil War era ban too extreme. In the meantime, Arizona's Democratic Attorney General says her office does not intend to prosecute providers or patients under the old law. The vote came after weeks of mounting pressure on Republicans in a battleground state during a presidential election year.
While Republican attorneys general from 17 states filed a lawsuit Thursday against the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It's over a new rule under the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act that requires employers to provide accommodations for a worker getting an abortion. The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act provides workers with a variety of protections, including time off for recovery from childbirth, prenatal or postnatal appointments, and postpartum depression. The law also mandates most employers offer reasonable accommodations to workers related to pregnancy or childbirth, including providing time off for an abortion. The EEOC said in the rule it does not require employers to provide paid time off for the procedure. The Attorney General of Tennessee said in a statement that abortion mandate is, quote, unconstitutional federal overreach that infringes on existing state laws. The EEOC specified that the act is a workplace anti-discrimination law.
Disease detectives in Chicago are seeing a worrisome trend. More syphilis patients are complaining of unusual and severe symptoms, including vision and eye problems, headaches and hearing loss, or dizziness. Doctors say these symptoms are usually associated with infections that have gone undiagnosed and untreated for years, not patients in early stages of the bacterial infection. Doctors in Chicago say they saw more than 24 cases with these symptoms last year. Nearly a third of them were in the early stages of the infection. Also, 68% lacked the typical symptoms of a rash or canker sore. Syphilis cases are on the rise in the U.S. In 2022, there were more than 207,000 cases reported. The CDC reports that it is the highest number since the 1950s.
Another CDC report shows the fertility rate in the U.S. at its lowest in more than a century. While many factors may play into the drop in births, there are millions of women who struggle to get pregnant, and experts say many aren't getting the care they may need. It is National Infertility Awareness Week, and Mandy Gaither reports on the options for those who are struggling to build a family.
It's defined as not being able to get pregnant after a year or more of trying. Infertility impacts millions of lives, an estimated 1 in 6 people worldwide.
You're probably thinking to yourself, well, why do I not know anybody who's gone through this? Because they're probably not talking about it.
Barbara Kulora is with Resolve, a nonprofit organization helping those who struggle with infertility. She says finding a community and support are critically important.
Reproduction is very private, and people feel very alone, and then they feel stigmatized.
The World Health Organization says many of those who have trouble getting pregnant don't get the care they need. Kulora says infertility can be a life-altering diagnosis.
It impacts you physically, it impacts you emotionally, it impacts you financially, it really impacts your relationships.
There is help, Kulora says, to see a doctor, get a diagnosis, and go over treatment options, which can vary based on the cause of infertility. She says addressing the problem can take many forms.
It might not be medical treatment, it might be adoption, it might be other routes to parenthood, and then it might be a decision that says, you know what, we're not going to build our family through having children, it's going to be the family of our choice.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The nonprofit organization Resolve has resources that may be able to help those struggling with infertility. The CEO says that because financial burden is so great for those struggling to build a family, the organization continues to advocate for better health insurance coverage and for companies to have comprehensive benefits. For more information, you can go to resolve.org.
When we return,
the spring football game is coming.
The future for Husker baseball and softball.
And the next time Husker basketball plays the Crichton Blue Jays, all after the break.
Okay, so how about this much?
I don't know.
Well, how about this much?
I don't know.
How about...
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, maybe this much?
I don't know.
The very tip of your pencil, a fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. That's how much it takes for a dose of fentanyl to become lethal. Learn more at realdealonfentanyl.com.
Well, I've been waiting since last semester to get into that Memorial Stadium, and I cannot be more excited for the spring game tomorrow. But Olivia Davenport, sports reporter, has more with what's going on. Olivia?
Get ready, Husker fans. Only one more sleep until you get to watch some Husker football. The Nebraska spring football game is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Here's what Matt Rule has to say about being the starting quarterback for the Huskers.
Husker fans have a pretty high standard. You know, I'm sure that if I was a Husker fan, I'd just be coming hoping that the ball's not on the ground. You want to be the starting quarterback at Nebraska? You better be ready to deal with the heat. After games, you guys don't talk to Gifford after every game, do you? You don't talk to Nash after every game. You talk to me and the quarterback. And so the 2 people with the most pressure are me and the quarterback.
A new face has joined the Husker Athletic Department. Haven Fields will serve as Deputy Athletic Director and Chief Operating Officer. Fields previously served as the Deputy Athletic Director at the University of Washington under Troy Dannon. Dannon said he's excited to bring Haven and his family to Lincoln and welcome them to the Husker family. Fields will serve as the day-to-day football administrator, working with Matt Rule and the rest of the football staff. He will oversee the Huskers athletic fund as well as assist Troy Dannon in managing the athletic department. Now for some Tuesday night baseball. The Huskers are taking on the Kansas Jayhawks at Haymarket Park. Huskers' Riley Silva takes off for second, and the throw from the Jayhawk catcher misses the mark, allowing Silva to advance to third. It's Drew Christo on the mound for the Huskers now. He would end with 5 strikeouts in 2 innings pitched. Jayhawk John Nett sends one all the way to the right field bullpen for a solo home run. Jayhawks would go on to win 9-4. Nebraska falls to 25-13 and 8-4 in Big Ten play. Just across the sidewalk to Bullen Stadium now, where the Huskers are taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Kaylin Kinney on the mound for the Huskers, and she gets a ground ball from Hawkeye Gracie Baines. Billy Andrews makes the throw over to first for the out. The Huskers will try a squeeze bunt, but Caitlin Neal fails to get it down, and Samantha Bland finds herself in a pickle, literally. Bland changes directions 3 times and avoids the tag and remains safe at third. Scoreless through 7 innings, so extra softball it is. It's Bella Bacon at the plate now with runners on first and second, and Bacon finds the right center gap, and Samantha Bland gets across the plate. The Huskers have walked it off and win 1-0. Huskers move to 27-19 and 10-6 in the Big Ten. The first piece of the 2024-25 Nebraska men's basketball season has been put in place. The Cornhuskers will travel to Omaha to face in-state rival Creighton. The game is set for Friday, November 22nd. Tip-off will be announced at a later date. These schools have not played each other in November since the 2020-2021 season. Keep an eye out for the rest of the Husker schedule, as it will be announced throughout the spring and summer. The Night at the Lead is this weekend at the Lead Center. This event is held to celebrate athlete success, and finalists for Male and Female Athlete of the Year have been announced. First up for the female nominations, volleyball player Merritt Beeson, soccer player Eleanor Dale, track and field athlete Axelina Johansson, and track and field athlete Rima Oteba. Now for the male nominations, wrestler Ridge Levitt, baseball player Brett Sears, track and field athlete Till Steinforth, and basketball player Keisei Tominaga.
Well, I've said it before, but I'm really excited for that spring game.
Yeah, it should be super exciting. I saw they sold 54,000 tickets, so Nebraska's showing up.
Wow. Okay, well, coming up after the break,
The premiere of a musical.
and Lincoln Public Playhouse brings on its next production, all after the break.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to this weekend in Lincoln. Entertainment reporter Logan Eby has more.
Edward Bloom is an adamant storyteller. His son will separate his father's facts from fiction. The musical had its first performance last night, but the shows will continue until May 4th at 7:30 p.m. every night. Get ready for Lincoln Community Playhouse's next production, The Play That Goes Wrong. It is a classic whodunit set in the 1920s where the players are tasked with solving the murder at Haversham Manor. However, the show has an interesting twist. The thespians are terrible actors. Everything in the show is going to go from bad to terrible, from actors forgetting their lines, dead bodies that won't stay dead, and more hilarious outtakes. The Play That Goes Wrong shows May 3rd to the 5th and the 10th to the 12th. You can find more information at the Lincoln Public Playhouse's website. If you're looking for some terror in your life, Lincoln Grand Cinema is hosting a 45th anniversary showing of 1979's Alien, directed by Ridley Scott. This sci-fi horror classic is one of my favorite movies and is a great thing to check out if you're interested in a quick, fun scare. Back to you at the desk.
Well, since there's so much going on with weather, let's take one last look with Dominic Ferraro. Dominic?
Thank you, Mackenzie. We've had a couple reports and images of power lines down on 84th Street between Fletcher and Havelock. There's a confirmed tornado now, Harrison County, northeast of Blair. And we are looking at an extremely enlarged and dangerous tornado there, as long as several tornado warnings around the eastern border of the state. However, taking a look back to your local weather, looking ahead to tomorrow, will be mostly sunny. Could see a chance or two for afternoon thunderstorms as we see that severe threat kind of ramp up again into the afternoon tomorrow, 79 there. Sunday, showers and breezy, 72 degrees, and then we'll see the sun come back on Monday, 72 for the high there as well. So it's been a very eventful weather day.
Yeah.
Still very much developing. So. We hope that everyone involved with those storms today is safe.
Yes.
And it's looking like it's going to quiet down here in the capital city. However, keep an eye on the weather. It's always a good idea.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting afternoon, especially
we saw
for us.
all the different things.
All the things we could see. Yeah. Hopefully no tornadoes tomorrow at the spring game, though.
Yes. Hopefully Mother Nature cuts us some slack for the first football game.
Yeah, I'm so ready for that sunshine to be on me, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications.
And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on Nebraska Nightly.